Cale had been a simple farmhand. His life was unremarkable, until the day the sky tore open. A blazing comet crashed to Earth, its fiery debris scattering across the land.
One shard struck me, searing my flesh, filling me with unimaginable pain. I should have died. Instead, I was forever changed.
Kyle awoke to a world that was alien. His senses were heightened, colors were more vibrant, sounds sharper. His body, once ordinary, now possessed unnatural strength and agility. Time, once linear, now stretched endlessly before him. He was immortal. The comet's energy had rewritten his very essence. It granted him immortality, but stole his mortality. The world he knew, the people he loved, were fleeting shadows. He was forever on the outside, looking in, a lonely, immortal observer. Kyle's transformation was not just internal. His features, once plain, were now striking. His eyes held the depth of 1,000 stars. His touch sent shivers down the spines of those he encountered. He was beauty personified, a beacon of otherworldly charm.
I quickly discovered that my mind was as much a gift as my body. I absorbed knowledge like a sponge. Languages, sciences, and magic unraveled before me. I mastered combat with an almost supernatural grace. I surpassed scholars and warriors with ease.
But immortality's weight settled deep in his soul. He witnessed empires rise and crumble, stars ignite and fade. He saw the beauty and cruelty of the cosmos. He yearned for connection, for someone to share the burden of his unending existence. Cale traveled to the edges of the known world and beyond. He sought out hidden masters and ancient beings. He sparred with mystical creatures and learned the secrets of forgotten languages. He delved into the heart of dying stars and wrestled with cosmic entities. He learned to command the elements, bending fire, water, earth, and air to his will.
Ancient dragons bowed before his wisdom. Celestial beings sought his counsel. He became a legend whispered across the cosmos.
Yet with every victory, with every skill mastered, the void within him deepened. Knowledge and power brought him no solace. The universe seemed vast and indifferent. He was a ghost in his own life, an immortal being yearning for a mortal connection. Cale's journeys took him through swirling nebulas and across galaxies unknown. He walked on planets of shimmering crystal and swam in seas of liquid light. He encountered races beyond imagination, benevolent beings of pure energy, grotesque creatures from dimensions unseen. He shared meals with celestial beings, their laughter echoing through the cosmos. He debated philosophy with ancient spirits, their wisdom spanning millennia.
I even befriended a mischievous, impish creature named Zephyr, who became my constant companion.
But Zephyr, for all his tricks and tales, was a reminder of Cale's own isolation. He was a pet, not an equal. Cale yearned for someone who could meet him on his level, who could challenge him, understand him. He longed for a love that could blossom even in the face of his immortality. Despite his experiences and power, Cale felt increasingly hollow. The universe felt like an endless stage, and he a solitary actor. The weight of his immortality pressed upon him, a constant reminder of his isolation.
I crave warmth, connection, and love. I long to share the wonders I've seen, the wisdom I've accrued.
He had tasted every exotic fruit, drunk from every fountain of knowledge, yet he remained unfulfilled. His immortality felt less like a gift and more like a prison of his own making.
I am revered, feared, even worshipped, but never truly known, never loved.
He realized that true power meant nothing without someone to share it with. Without love, immortality was a curse disguised as a blessing. One day, while traversing a shimmering star path, Cale sensed a presence. It was as if the very fabric of the cosmos was whispering to him, guiding him towards something extraordinary. This was not the cold vastness of space or the silent whispers of cosmic entities. It was something far more profound, a connection that transcended the ordinary. This was warm, radiant, and unlike anything he had encountered before. The light seemed to wrap around him, filling him with a sense of peace and belonging. It felt like coming home after an eternity lost at sea. The feeling was so intense it brought tears to his eyes, as if he had finally found his place in the universe.
I am drawn to it, finding myself on the edge of a nebula, its colors shifting and swirling in a cosmic dance. The beauty of it was mesmerizing, each color telling a story of creation and destruction.
And at its heart, bathed in celestial light, stood Anya. Her beauty was breathtaking. She seemed to be the very essence of the cosmos, a living embodiment of the stars. But it was the depth in her eyes, the wisdom and kindness that shone from her that truly captivated him. Her gaze held the secrets of the universe, and he felt an overwhelming urge to learn from her.
I am Anya, a being of pure light, born from the heart of a dying star. My existence is tied to the cosmos, and I have witnessed the birth and death of countless worlds.
She possessed a timeless grace, an ethereal beauty that far surpassed any mortal or immortal Kyle had ever encountered. Her presence was a reminder of the infinite wonders that the universe held, and he knew his journey had only just begun. Their meeting was like the collision of two celestial bodies. Anya, vibrant and radiant, a being of pure light and compassion. Kale, ancient and powerful, yet burdened by his immortality. His eyes held the weight of countless lifetimes. They were drawn to each other, like moths to a flame, two sides of the same cosmic coin, destined to meet.
I found solace in Anya's presence, a peace I had long forgotten, a warmth that had been absent for millennia. Her touch was like a balm to my weary soul. For the first time, I felt seen, understood. It was as if she could see into the depths of my heart. I shared my stories, my triumphs, and my sorrows. Each word was a release, a step towards healing.
And Anya listened with an empathy that echoed through his very being. Her eyes never wavered, her attention unwavering. Anya, in turn, was drawn to Kale's strength and wisdom. She admired his resilience, his ability to endure. She saw the loneliness behind his piercing gaze, the centuries of solitude etched into his soul, the yearning for connection that his power couldn't mask. It was a longing that mirrored her own.
I felt a stirring within me, a connection that went beyond the celestial, beyond the physical, and touched the very core of my being. It was a bond that transcended time and space, a love that was eternal.
Their bond deepened with each passing moment. They explored the cosmos together, their laughter echoing through nebulas and supernova remnants. Kale, for the first time in millennia, felt alive again. He had found something worth cherishing, something that made his immortality bearable. But their newfound happiness did not go unnoticed.
In the darkest recesses of the void, I stirred. I had been watching Kale, feeding off his loneliness, his despair. I sensed a shift in the cosmic balance, a threat to my power.
This entity, known only as the Shadow, thrived on chaos and discord. It saw Kale's love for Anya as a weakness to exploit, a way to break him, to twist his power and make him its puppet. The Shadow worked subtly, insidiously. It whispered doubts into Kale's mind, playing on his deepest fears. It planted seeds of jealousy, of possessiveness.
Remember your past loneliness, the pain of outliving everything you held dear. Your love for her will be her undoing. Your immortality will ultimately destroy her.
It showed him visions of Anya fading away, consumed by the very light that gave her life. It whispered that his love for her would be her undoing, that his immortality would ultimately destroy her.
I fought these insidious thoughts, but the Shadow's words wormed their way into my heart. A cold fear began to grip me. I had lived an eternity without Anya, but the thought of losing her now was unbearable.
Torn between his love for Anya and the Shadow's poisonous whispers, Kale found himself at a crossroads. The path ahead was shrouded in uncertainty, each step weighed down by the gravity of his choices. His heart ached with love, but his mind was clouded with doubt. The whispers of the Shadow echoed in his thoughts, sowing seeds of fear and hesitation. His immortality, once a gift, now felt like a curse, a barrier separating him from the one being who had pierced his defenses. The endless years stretched before him, a lonely expanse without Anya by his side.
I knew I had to confront the Shadow, to protect Anya from its insidious influence. The darkness threatened to consume everything I held dear, but I also feared what I might become in the process. The line between hero and monster blurred in the face of such overwhelming power. Could I defeat such a being without succumbing to the darkness within myself? The battle was not just against the shadow, but against my own inner demons.
As the shadow's power grew, Kale faced an impossible choice. The weight of the universe seemed to press down on his shoulders, each decision fraught with peril. Embrace the darkness within to protect Anya, or risk losing her to the very forces that sought to control him. The stakes had never been higher, and the consequences of failure were unimaginable.
Kale, whatever you decide, know that I am with you. Always. Your strength is not just in your power, but in your heart.
The fate of the universe, it seemed, hung in the balance, but for Kale, the fate of his heart was all that mattered. His love for Anya was the guiding light in the encroaching darkness, a beacon of hope in the face of despair.